So good morning, my dear boys. So today is the simplest topic already you learned in your 10th class. That is electronic configuration, energy of some orbitals, dipole moment, magnetic moment calculation. All are simple and very easy. So this is the day of end of atomic structure concept. So it is the closing day of atomic structure. See here. Now our topic is energy of orbitals. Energy of orbitals. Here energy of different orbitals, available orbitals are explained with respect to single electron system and multi-electron system. With respect to the single electron system and multi-electron system, we are going to explain which orbital has less energy and more energy. So let us take for single electron systems. Before going to take that concept, so there are some orbitals having same energy in our atoms. There are certain orbitals having same energy. These orbitals are called as degenerate orbitals. Degenerate orbitals. These are the orbitals having same energy. So whenever orbitals having same energy, those orbitals are considered as degenerate orbitals. Let us take p orbitals. In p sub-energy level, there are px orbital, py orbital, pz orbital. All these three have same energy. These are degenerate orbitals. In d orbitals, there exist 5 orbitals: dxy, dyz, dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square, y square, dz square. These are the 5 orbitals. All these 5 have same energy. These are degenerated. That means orbitals having same energy. 2 or more orbitals having same energy are collectively called as degenerate orbitals. This is a very important point. Okay. Now, least energetical orbitals orbit is taken as the ground state. So something high energy state are called as excited state. Now I am going to take, say once again here, for degenerate orbitals, n value, l value are same. For degenerate orbitals, that is principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number, both are same. That is for degenerate orbitals. For example, for this, it is let it be 2p orbital, 2, that is n value 2, p orbital l is equal to 1, but this is plus 1, this is minus 1, this is 0. My dear boys, pz orbital is always taken as 0 m value. Pz orbital, because the z-axis is the principal axis during our explanation. That's right. So that is pz is taken as 0. Here also, dz square, in this case, m value 0. Dz square. So in remaining cases, minus 1, minus 2, plus 1, plus 2. So plus 1, plus 2, these are the different, whatever it may be, but dz square has 0 value. So like this. So here 3 orbitals having same energy are called as threefold degenerate orbitals. P orbitals are threefold degenerate. D orbitals are 5 orbitals having same energy. So these are called as a fivefold degenerate orbitals. Okay, these are all about your orbitals. So orbitals having same energy are called as degenerate orbitals. They have same n value, same l value, but different m values. Different m values. So those are considered as degenerate orbitals. Now I am going to explain the degeneracy for single electron system and for multi-electron system. Single electron system and for multi-electron system. So see here. So energy of orbitals for one electron system sending. Very, very important. Number of times asked bits are here. Now energy of orbitals for one electron system. For one electron system means it is for hydrogen. It is for one electron. He plus one electron. Li plus 2 1 electron. Be plus 2 1 electron. Be plus 3 1 electron. All these are like this. All these having same single electron system. For single electron systems. So these are the orbitals here. It is the energy increasing order. Now, this is 1s orbital, 1s, 2s, 2p, 2, that is, these are the different energy levels. Next, it is 2s. These are the 3p orbitals. It is for 2p orbitals. My dear boys, all these energies are same. Next, 3s, 3p orbitals. At the same time, 3d also exists with 5 orbitals, 3d orbitals. Like this are possible. It is for one electron system. Once again, I am told you. I am drawing here. It is only for one electron system. See here. As n value increases, energy of orbitals also increases. So when compared to this, these are more energy. These have more energy. As n value increases for single electron system, no doubt, energy of the orbitals also increases. But n value is the same. If n value is the same, energy of those orbitals are also same ending. So here, these 9 orbitals there. So 1, it is 1, it is 3, it is 5 ending. Total, all these 9 orbitals having same energy. All these 9 orbitals having same energy. Just a minute. This one also completed. So these 3s orbitals, 3p orbitals, 3 orbitals, and 3d 5 orbitals, all these 1, 3, 5 orbitals having total 9, all these have same energy. This is taken as the ground state. It is the first excited state. This is the second excited state. What is the degeneracy? These are having same energy. Same energy. That is nothing but degenerate orbitals. So what is the degeneracy of second excited state of hydrogen or hydrogen-like species? Hydrogen or hydrogen-like species. What is the degeneracy? Degeneracy is equal to 9n. It is for second excited state. For first excited state, how much is the degeneracy? Degeneracy is equal to 4n. 4 orbitals having same energy n. So the degeneracy here is only 1 orbital, that is not considered degenerate orbital. So for hydrogen or hydrogen-like species, that is for single electron system, as n value increases, energy increases. For orbitals having same energy, same n value, having same energy. Orbitals having same n value, having same energy. That means energy is decided with n value. For single electron system, energy is decided with n value. And so energy is directly proportional to n. And energy is directly proportional to n. If n is the same, automatically energy also same. And energy n is same, energy also same. So what I told you here, it is only for single electron system. And it is only applicable for single electron system, and not for multi-electron systems. It is only for single electron system. Okay. So total degeneracy of first excited state of hydrogen ion, hydrogen is 4n. For the total degeneracy of second excited state is 9n. So what about the third one? Third one, it is second excited state. For third excited state, that is 4s and 4s, 4p, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4d, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 4s and It is 7, it is 5, it is 3, it is 1 and 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. How much? 9, 9 plus 16. 16 is the degeneracy end. For it is third exit state. Third exit state, that is for fourth orbital. Third exit state. So am I correct? 4, 4 plus 9. 5, 9, 9 plus 4. Okay, 16. So that 16 is the degeneracy of third exit state of hydrogen or hydrogen-like ions having single electron. If it has a single electron, this is the way to identify which one is having more energy, which one has less energy. That means, what is the order of these energies? So for single electron, 1s having less energy than 2s, which is equal to 2p, which is equal to 2p. Next, less than 3s equal to 3p equal to 3d, less than 4s equal to 4p is equal to 4d, which is equal to 4f, like this. Like this is the energy order. Energy order. Very, very important. It is for single electron system. For multi-electron systems, that is having 2 or more electrons. For multi-electron systems, energy of the orbitals are decided with n plus L values. Energy of the system is decided with n plus L values. So up to this, clear or not, my dear boys? Energy of single electron system. It is very, very important. Number of times asked bits are here. Okay. Next one. For multi-electron species, energy of orbitals for multi-electron species. So for multi-electron species, energy of the orbitals are explained on the basis of, it is based on n plus L values. For multi-electron systems, already in 10th class, this is the important topic, that is Hubble rule or something else. Energy of the different orbitals are explained by using that Euler diagram, that like that. So energy of the orbitals are explained on the basis of n plus L values. If n plus L value of different orbitals are same, then use n value. So more, that is n plus L value is directly proportional to energy of the orbital. If n plus L value is the same for different orbitals, n value. So more n value, if n plus L is the same, n value directly proportional to energy of orbitals. First of all, you decide with n plus L value. If n plus L values are same, automatically we use n values. So these are the different cases. See here, what is that? In case of multi-electron systems, the energy is also decided with the help of, there is Euler diagram. That is, it is 1s orbital, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, 5s, 5p, 5d, 6s, 6p, 7s. These are the different possible orbitals in first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, like that. Okay. So now energy order. So this is the way. First electron entered into first 1s orbital. Next, that means 1s is the least energetical orbital. Next entered into 2s. After that 2p. After that 3s. That is 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s. So this is the way. So this is the way to identify the energy of the orbitals. That means the order of different orbitals energy is, different orbitals energy is 1s less than 2s less than 2p less than 3s, which is less than 3p, which is less than 4s, which is less than 3d, like this. Like this, energy orders are there. It is applicable for multi-electron system. My dear boys, it is for multi-electron system. Previously, I told you that is for single electron system. It is for multi-electron system. So here, it is the first excited state. It is ground state. It is first excited state. This is second excited state. This is third excited state. So these are the different excited states. Now I am going to draw here. See here. This is the direction in which energy is increased. Energy increase the direction. Now this is 1s orbital. This is 1s orbital. Cut. Screen is not full. This is energy increase the direction. This is energy increase the direction. Now this is 1s orbital. This is 2s orbital. These are 2p orbitals. It is 2s, 2p. This is 3s orbital. This is 3p orbital. 3p orbital. Now it is 4s. This is 4p. This is 4s, 4p, 3d. These are the orbitals. These are the different orbitals. So now this is ground state. This is ground state. It is first excited state. This is second excited state. So here ground state, first excited state degeneracy is 1 ND. Second excited state degeneracy is 3 ND. Third excited state 1 ND. So like this, these are the different orbitals. Degeneracy. Degeneracy. It is for multi-electron system. So see here, what is the degeneracy of helium? What is the degeneracy of? So that is the second excited state of helium. What is the degeneracy of second excited state of helium? Helium means Z is equal to 2. That means it has 2 electrons. It is a multi-electron system. For multi-electron system, here we are going to follow this one. So here second excited state. So what is that second excited state? This is second excited state. So degeneracy is 3. Degeneracy of the second excited state is 3 for helium. For example, if it is helium plus, helium plus has single electron system. For single electron system, the degeneracy is, so that is the second excited state. Second excited state means, that is third orbit. Third orbit means 3s, 3p, 3d are exist. That is 3s1, 3p3, 3d5. Altogether 9. 9 is the degeneracy for He plus. 9 is the degeneracy for He plus. The second excited state in case of He plus. If it is He, that is 3 is the degeneracy. So this is the way to identify the energy of the orbitals. So that is for multi-electron system, this is the way. So by using this Euler diagram or by using our n plus L rule or n rule. N plus L rule or n rule. Let us take one example for that n plus L and n rule. Consider 2p orbital and 3s orbital whose energy is high. For 2p orbital, n is equal to 2, L is equal to 1 any, n plus L is equal to 3 any. For 3s, n is equal to 3, L is equal to 0 any. So n plus L is equal to 3 any. So here n plus L value of these two are same any. So here these two are same. So if these two are same, now use n value any. Use n value. So more is the n value, more is the energy any. More energy any. It has less energy any. That means 2p orbital has less energy than 3s. 2p orbital having less energy than 3s. So because n plus L values are same. If n plus L values are same, use n value. So n is directly proportional to energy. So less energy, less n value is the less energy correct. So similarly here it is, that is 3p and 3d. Identify. So 3p, n is equal to 3, p for p orbital, L is equal to 1 n. That is why n plus L value is equal to 4 n. Here it is 3 and 2 ra, that is 5 n. Therefore, so here n plus L value is 4, here n plus L value is 5. So n plus L values are not same. Therefore, 3p having less energy than 3d n. So it is more energy current. It is more energy current. For example, compare 3d with 4p. 3d with 4p. So 4p, that is it is 4, n value is 4, L value is 1, overall 5, n plus L values are same. If n plus L values are same, so automatically use n value. So now this one is low energy, this one has more energy. More energy. So whenever L plus L values are same, use n value. First of all, you decide with, you use n plus L value. If n plus L values are not same, so automatically continue. Those having less n plus L values have less energy, more n plus L value have more energy current. But if n plus L values are same, then only you use n rule. Then only you use n rule. This is the way to identify which one having sorry, which one having less energy and which one has more energy. Okay, so this is in multi-electron system, that is the energy orders. In multi-electron system, these are the energy orders. This is very, very important while writing the electronic configuration of different orbitals. Electronic configuration of different orbitals. Okay, next important point, some important points. See here. In multi-electron species, note points and in multi-electron species, energy of orbitals in same cell, in same subshell, energy of orbitals in same subshell so energy of orbitals is the same subshell decreases with increase in atomic number. So it is very, very, very important. Energy of orbitals in the same subshell decreases with increase of atomic number. For example, see here. Energy of 2s orbital in hydrogen atom, energy of same 2s orbital in lithium atom. Here Z is equal to 1, here Z is equal to 3. This is 2s orbital, this is 2s orbital, same subshell. So as n value increases, subshell value decreases. Subshell value decreases. Now I am going to take a greater value, greater than. So this is very, very important. Energy of 2s orbital in hydrogen is greater than that of energy of 2s orbital in lithium, which is greater than that of energy of 2s orbital in boron, in boron, or sometimes, so otherwise it is lithium sodium, let it be sodium. So energy of 2s orbital in potassium, so like this, as atomic number increases, energy of same shell decreases. As atomic number increases, energy of same subshell decreases. It is very, very important note point. Next one. Next point. Energy difference between subshell of same shell increases with increase in atomic number. With increase in atomic energy difference between subshell of same shell. See here, delta E, and energy difference means delta E. There is a delta E value between 2s and 2p. Same shell wrap. It is second orbit, but different subshells. Of carbon. I am going to consider here delta E of same 2s 2p of nitrogen. It is of carbon, that is of nitrogen. So what we have to apply? Is this less than or greater than between these two? Less than apply also. So see here it is. Energy difference between subshell of same shell. Subshells of same shell increases with increase in atomic number. Here atomic number Z is equal to 7. Here atomic number Z is equal to 6. That means more is the atomic number, more is the difference energy value. That is here I am going to apply less than. Less than. So these 2 points are very, very, very important. Number of times asked conditions. So this is the energy of different orbitals in same shell or different subshells having one electron system or more than one electron system, that is for multi-electron systems. So this is the energy of orbitals. Now I am going to take some conditions. So some conditions in during these energies, attractive forces. So see here, technically some words are used here. What are those words used here? That is shielding energy, frequently used word it is. Shielding or screening energy. Effect. So it is frequently used in your ionization energy explanation, that is in the periodic table. So it is also energetically conditioned. So see here, what is this screening or shielding? That means those electrons which are present in the inner orbit decreases the attraction of that nucleus over the outermost electron cell. Yes, it is in your 10th class. So see here, these are the different orbits. This is the nucleus. These are the different orbits. These are the different orbits. Now, it is first orbit. N is equal to 1, 2, 3, like this, n values. Now, first orbit contains 2 electrons. Second orbit contains 2, that is 2s and 2p. 2s contains 2 electrons, 2p contains 6 electrons, overall 8 electrons. Now let us take third orbit contain 1 electron. Let third orbit contain 1 electron. No doubt, there is an attractive force between this nucleus and this outermost electron. So there is an attractive force. There is an attractive force between this nucleus over that outermost electron. But this attractive force decreased due to the presence of inner electrons. That is, these 8 electrons, 8 or 10 electrons, decreases the nuclear attraction over that outermost electron. That means these electrons act as screen between nucleus and outermost electron. Between nucleus and outermost electron. That's why the decreasing of attraction over outermost electron by because of that nucleus, that is called as screening effect or shielding effect. Screening effect or shielding effect. Those electrons present in the inner orbit are called as core electrons also. These inner electrons are also called as core electrons. Core electrons decreases the nuclear attraction over the outermost electron. The decreasing effect, that means these electrons act as a screen. These electrons act as a screen between these two atoms. Because these electrons increases, screen increases. Electrons decreases, screen decreases. As screen decreases, attraction increases. That means more is the core electrons, less is the attraction between them. More is the core electrons, less is the attraction between them. Less is the core electrons, more is the attraction between them. That means, so as screening effect increases, attraction decreases. As number of inner electrons increases, screening effect increases. As number of inner electrons decreases, screening effect decreases. As number of inner electrons increases, attraction decreases. As number of inner electrons decreases, attraction increases. That means screening effect directly proportional to attractive force between, inversely proportional to attractive force between nucleus and outermost electrons. So that is called as screen. So that is frequently used for any inner electrons decreases the attraction. So generally sometimes in ionization energy concepts, so this effect is clearly explained. The screening effect is screening effect. So screening effect, S greater than, P greater than, D greater than Fn. S electrons gives more screening effect than that of P greater than D, D greater than Fn. That is shielding effect. That is order of different orbitals. Electrons present in those orbitals gives that particular order. So S greater than, P greater than, D greater than Fn. That is screening effect order or shielding effect order. So S electrons creates more screening than that of P, than that of D, than that of F. F orbitals have less screening effect. F orbitals have less screening effect. Because of that, lateral contraction is applicable. Okay, so these are different concepts. So this is shielding effect or screening effect. Next important concept, that is exchange energy. And it is very, very important towards your stability of different orbitals. Why half-filled orbitals having more stable than other orbitals, or half-filled and full-filled orbitals having more energy than, more stable than other conditions. So that is explained on the basis of this exchange energy. And now our topic is, these are different energetical relations. Just enough. Energetical conditions. Energy related words. Exchange energy. Exchange energy. What is this exchange energy? So see here, orbitals having half-filled or, not orbitals, elements having half-filled or completely filled orbitals are more stable than others. Elements having half filled or completely filled orbitals are more stable than others. Okay, why? So this is on the basis of two conditions. So because first one, let us take example about oxygen and nitrogen. Oxygen atomic number Z is equal to H. Sorry, yes, it is H. For nitrogen, Z is equal to 7. Electronic configuration is 8. 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So inner orbit cancel it. So it is a 2s orbital having 2 electrons, 2p orbital 1, 2, 3, 4. It is for oxygen. Next for nitrogen, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Inner cancel it. So that is a 2s orbital having 2 electrons, 2p orbital 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are the electronic configurations that that is oxygen and nitrogen. In nitrogen, not half filled. But here that p orbital is half filled. Because of that, it is more stable. It is less stable. More stable, less stable. Why, sir? Why this is more stable? Because each orbital filled with one electron, the symmetry is existent. It is a symmetric end. It is unsymmetric end. It is unsymmetric. Because symmetry, wherever symmetry is there, stability is there. That is why nitrogen is more stable than oxygen. That means oxygen is more reactive than nitrogen. Nitrogen is less reactive than oxygen because itself it is stable. Because itself it is stable. So how you give that statement? Why nitrogen is more stable than oxygen? Because in our nature, nitrogen percentage is nearly 80%. Nitrogen, unreacted nitrogen is there. Why, sir? Why is that much 80%? Because nitrogen itself is unstable at ordinary cases. That's why nitrogen exists that much amount in your air. Okay, no doubt nitrogen is stable. So that is practically proved. That is why, because of half-filled condition. It is one of the ways to explain the stability area. But in another way, the exchange energy of nitrogen greater than oxygen. Exchange energy of nitrogen greater than oxygen, more exchange energy, more is the stability energy. So that means exchange energy is directly proportional to stability of atom. Exchange energy directly proportional to stability of the atom. Sir, what is this exchange energy? So that exchange energy is nothing but, so these are the electrons. So this electron, let it be 1, 2, 3 electrons. These two electrons are going to exchange. These two electrons are going to exchange. So because they create more space, Okay, this electron exchange between exchanges takes place. Wherever exchange takes place, automatically they lose energy. Their energy decreases. Wherever energy is decreased, stability is more. More exchanges, more energy is lost. More energy is lost, less energy is internally exists. Less energy is there, more is the stability. So wherever inner energy is less, stability is more. Wherever inner energy is less, stability is more. So very, very important. Inner energy. More energy is out, means less energy is inner. Less is innerly exists. More energy is released, less energy is there internally. Less energy internally there, more is the stability. More is the stability. Okay, so this is, so more exchanges, more is the stability. Here only these electrons only going to exchanges, less exchanges. That means more is the number of unpaired electrons, more exchanges. So that means number of exchanges is equal to, the formula is number of exchanges is equal to formula NC2 NC2. That is similarly NCR formula, N factorial by R factorial, N minus R factorial. This is n factorial by 2 factorial into n minus 2 factorial number of exchanges, or otherwise the formula is n into n minus 1 by 2, whatever it may be, anything is used. Here n is equal to number of unpaid electrons. Here n is equal to number of unpaid electrons. Any of these two formulae you can use number of exchanges. Now I am going to explain some examples here. See here. So this formula is important, my dear boys. Number of exchanges made by an electron, made by the atom, is equal to Nc2 and Nc2. Or so either this one or this one, anything is used. So n into n minus 1 by 2. That is n is equal to number of unpaid electrons. So more is the number of unpaid electrons, more is the exchanges. More exchanges, more energy is lost. More energy is lost, less energy internally there. Less energy is there, more is the stability. More is the stability. So that means if we have less energy, our stability is more. Am I correct or not? If we have less energy, our stability is more. Am I correct or not? Yes. How, sir? For example, I am very healthy. That means my inner energy is more. Because of my energy is more, I am ready to move anywhere in this village or in this city. That means my movement is there. That means I am not stable at one point. But if I have fever, that means automatically my energy is down and less is the energy internally. That means I am not moving. That much energy is not there for moving. That means I am stable at one point. I am stable at one point means I am very, very stable. That means less is the inner energy, more is the stability. More is the stability. Like that, more energy is lost by me. That means less energy is innerly there. Less energy is innerly there, the more is the stability. That means more lost energy is equal to more stability. More lost energy is equal to more stability. This exchange energy is the losing energy. More is the losing energy, more is the stability. More is the losing energy, less is the inner energy. So total stability explained on the basis of inner energy and not losing energy. So inner energy is more. Inner energy is more unstable. Inner energy is less stable. More is the energy loose, innerly less. That's why more stability. So it is very, very important. That means exchange energy is directly proportional to it is losing energy and it. More is the losing energy, more is the stability. More is the losing energy, more is the stability. Okay? See here. I'm going to take some examples here. Let us take D4 configuration. D4 configuration. See here. These are the 4 unpaid electrons existing here. 4 unpaid electrons. Okay. Now these 2 electrons are going to exchange. These 2 electrons are going. I am going to explain with this electron. With this electron. Between these 2 exchanges, between these 3 exchanges, between these 3 exchanges are possible. Okay. So that is the only possibility. That means for first electron, 3 exchanges are possible. 3 exchanges possible. Next, I am going to take second example. Second electron. This. So now second electron. See here. So don't consider this. Already between these 2 exchanges are completed. Like here. Now These two exchanges, these two exchanges. Sir, what about these two? Already this exchange is completed here. That's why I don't consider that one. Here, with this electron, for second electron, two exchanges and two exchanges. Next, now third end. D4. Now I'm considering this one. This is third electron. Only this exchange is possible. And only that exchange is possible. Okay, that means one exchange. And therefore, total exchanges. Therefore, total number of exchanges is equal to 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is equal to 6. Total number of exchanges made by that D4 configuration. Now I am going to find out by using our formula. That is, number of exchanges is equal to n into n minus 1 by 2. And here n is the number of unpaired electrons. How many total number of unpaired electrons? 4. 4 into 4 minus 1, 3 by 2. And that is equal to 6. 6. Or NC2 formula. That is 4C2 formula. 4C2. That is 4 factorial by 2 factorial into 4 minus 2 factorial. 2 cancel. This 2 times override is 6. And what direction is? So that is why number of exchanges like this. Is this clear? Merit word? So 5. If you use 5, that is the only unpaired electrons are involved in exchanges. So because of that exchanges, automatically very huge amount of more exchanges are there, more energy will be lost, more is the stability. More is the stability. So this is the way to find out number of exchanges. And so very important. So that means exchange energy is also influences the stability of particular atom. Okay. So these are this is exchange energy. Next our concept is electronic configuration. All these are known concepts. Okay. Our topic is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. This is made by Bohr. That is, it is nothing but systematic arrangement. Systematic arrangement or filling. Arrangement or filling of electrons in different orbitals with their increasing energy levels. That means electron first enter into the orbital having less energy based on one Bohr rule, and second one Hund's rule, and third one that is the Pauli's PA. Pauli's exclusive principle. Based on these three rules, electrons are arranged in different possible energy levels, possible orbitals, possible energy levels. That systematic arrangement is considered as electronic configuration. So, if you want to write electronic configuration, you must know about these three rules. That is Abba rule, Hund's rule, and Pauli's exclusive principle. Already these rules you know very well. That is, so simply I am going to complete this concept here. Just a few examples by using. So that is, first of all, Abba principle. That is, Abba means building up. The meaning is building up. So according to this rule, electron first entered in those available orbitals having least energy in it. First least energetical orbital field, and then something more. That is, energy increasing order is the filling of electrons. Energy increasing order. How to identify that energy increasing order? Either by using Euler diagram, or N plus L rule, or N rule, whatever it may be, whatever you want. It is for multi-electron system, my dear boys, not for single electron system. So using Euler diagram or N plus L rule or N rule, you can decide which one has less energy, which one has more energy. First electron is entered in that orbital having less energy. That is Abba rule, and it is very, very important. Already I completed that Euler diagram and something else. Okay. First low energetical orbital field and then high energetical orbital field. Now energy order is 1s less than 2s less than 2p less than 3s less than 3p less than 4s less than 3d. This is the ordering to fill the electrons. It is according to N plus L rule or N rule, or sometimes simply by using Euler diagram. So that means Abba rule. So electron is first entered in those available orbitals having less energy. Energy is decided with the help of the N plus L rule or N rule. If N plus L value is the same, use N rule, or simply by using Euler diagram. Okay. So this is Abba principle. So I think most of the students are very well known. Next one, that is Hund's rule. It is a scientist's name. Name of the scientist. There is no meaning in it. It is a noun. So Hund's rule. What is this Hund's rule? So this concept is for degenerate orbitals. It is for degenerate orbitals. What are degenerate orbitals? Energy is the same. Energy is same means same N value and L values. Same N value and L values are there. So that is considered degenerate orbital. Wherever degenerate orbitals are there. So in these degenerate orbitals, each orbital filled with one electron, and then pairing takes place. Wherever degenerate orbitals are there, if you want to fill that orbital with electrons, so each orbital filled with one electron and then pairing takes place. For example, there is p orbital. It has three orbitals, p sub. There are 5 electrons. I want to fill these 5 electrons in this orbital. First of all, each orbital filled with 1, 1, 1, and then pairing possible. So for example, if 3 electrons are there, this is the orbital. 3 electrons are there. I'm going to fill these 3 electrons. 1, 2, 3. This is corrected. But not 1, 2, 3. It is not possible. That means wherever degenerate orbitals are there, each orbital filled with 1 electron, then only pairing takes place. That means here this electron is already paired. This pairing is not possible because it is unfilled. Each orbital must and should be filled with 1 electron and then pairing takes place. So this is simply explained on the concept by using our daily life use bus concept. Hund's bus. So just please be mind. So in our bus stand, there is an empty bus. All seats are empty. If you enter into the bus, where you are going to sit? Is this window side seat or side seat? Tell me, what is your nature? At window side or other side? My dear boys, do you listen me? Window side. Okay. That means first window side is filled in. That is our nature. First window side is filled in. Next. Another came where he is going to sit. Other window side or the same side? Other side. Most of the people, another window side is going to fill in. That means like that, all window seats are going to fill. Now, no window side seat is there. Then someone is came. Now he is beside us. That means other side is there. That means pairing is possible if each one is filled with one. That means all these are seats in our bus. Each seat is filled with one, and then pairing possible. And then pairing. So just like our nature, electrons also have that much nature. That nature I mean. Okay. That means each orbital filled with one electron, and then pairing takes place. So just I do it. So wherever degenerate orbitals are there, all those seats in your bus are degenerate. Wherever degenerate orbitals are there, each orbital filled with one electron, and then pairing takes place. That is full truth. So this is possible. This is not possible. Next, that is next one. Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion principle. According to him, an orbital can accommodate only maximum of 2 electrons. Only maximum of 2 electrons. That means no 2 electrons have all 4 quantum numbers same. No 2 electrons have all 4 quantum numbers same. These two statements are correct. These two statements are correct. So that means orbital have maximum 2 electrons. Third electron is not possible. Third electron. So for example, these are the available orbitals. S and P. There is 3 electrons are there. So 1, 2, 3 is corrected. Only maximum 2 electrons are in it. So or say this. One, 2, 3, not possible. All those 3 electrons at one place are not exist because maximum 2 electrons are possible with positive, one having positive spin, another having negative spin. So third one, either with positive spin or negative spin, that means not possible. This is not possible. That means this case is not exist. This case is only possible. An orbital can have more, maximum of 2 electrons. Maximum of 2 electrons. That is given by Pauli's. So by using these 3 rules, we can write electronic configurations. By using these 3 rules, we can decide the electronic configuration. So all our electronic configurations based on all these 3 rules. But there are some exemptions. Those are considered as anomalous electronic configurations. Those are considered as anomalous electronic configurations. That is frequently we use. There is chromium and copper side, and some other examples are also there. But I am going to discuss here chromium and copper. That is only in our syllabus. Anomalous electronic configuration of chromium and copper. So what are those? See here. Chromium, atomic number Z is equal to 24. If you write the electronic configuration, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. 4s2, 3d4. That means it is expected. This is expected, but that means these are 4s2 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is expected, but this is possible. So this is not exist, this is existent. That means this electronic configuration not possible. That is 4s1 3d5 is corrected. 4s1 3d5. Why, sir? To get extra stability. Chromium itself is very, very stable. That stability is explained on the basis of this rule. Here 4 unpaired electrons, less is the exchange energy. Here is 5 unpaired electrons, more is the exchange energy, and symmetry is there. Symmetry is there. Okay. So altogether, this is more stable. This is less stable. That is right. So for chromium, the electronic configuration is 4s1 3d5. Just like chromium, that is copper also. So if it is taken as copper, that its atomic number is 29. Its final electronic configuration is, we expected D9 configuration. D9, but actually the configuration is not D9. That is D10 configuration is expected. That is D9 means 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is D9, less stable. If this electron is entered here, that electron is coming here, that is fulfilled. That is symmetry existing. So whenever fulfilled condition is applicable, automatically that is more stable. That is why for copper 4s1 3d10 is possible, and not 3d9, not 3d9. These are anomalous electronic configurations. Some other examples are also there. I will send that note. Please identify those electronic configurations. So this is writing of electronic configurations, some examples, some exemptions, and all those are based on our Pauli's exclusion principle, Hund's rule, and there is Abbo rule. And these are different rules. Okay. Next and last topic in this atomic structure is that is magnetic moment. Magnetic moment. So just a minute. Magnetic moment. What is this magnetic moment? How is this calculated? Magnetic properties, that is explained by magnetic moment by using the formula mu, and its symbol is mu. And magnetic moment. What is this magnetic moment? What is this magnetic property? Let us take three different substances, or let it be A is a substance. This is placed in external magnetic field. Let's take this one. This is a magnet. It is North Pole, South Pole. So its magnetic field is up to like this. It is a magnetic field. It is magnetic field. In this magnetic field, I put a material that is A and also B. So within the magnetic field, I place those materials within the magnetic field. Now, this A is attracted by that magnet, but B is not attracted by the magnet. Those substances which are attracted by the magnet when it is placed in magnetic field are called as paramagnetic substances which are attracted which are not attracted by the magnet are considered as a diamagnetic. So depending on attraction. So not attracted means, which is not attracted means repelled ending. Repelled means not attracted, that's enough. Which is not attracted by the magnet, that is repelled, are considered as diamagnetic. Which are attracted by the magnet, that is called as paramagnetic. Why some substances are attracted, why not some substances are attracted? So because substances having unpaired electrons, substances having unpaired electrons are attracted by magnets, which have no unpaired electron are not attracted by the magnet. That means substance which is attracted by the magnet means having unpaired electrons, which are not attracted, that is repelled by the magnet means there is no unpaired electrons. Those substances having unpaired electrons are only attracted by the magnet when it is placed in magnetic field. That is, those are which are attracted by the magnet are called paramagnetic substances, which are not attracted by the magnet are called as considered as diamagnetic substances. That is, all these only due to the presence of unpaired electrons. Presence of unpaired electrons are paramagnetic, absence of unpaired electrons are the diamagnetic. More is the number of unpaired electrons, more is the attraction. Less is the number of unpaired electrons, less is the attraction. Low is the number of unpaired electrons, low attraction. So that means presence of unpaired electrons. This magnetic moment mu is calculated by using the formula under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magnetons. It is the very, very important formula. So magnetic moment mu is calculated by using the formula under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magnetons. So this is n is equal to number of unpaired electrons. N is equal to number of unpaired electrons. Okay. So that is. So someone asked me, sir, what about ferro? Which are attracted parad, which are repelled diad. So that para which is strongly attracted, which is called as ferro. So that means ferro is the part of parad. Ferro is the part because which is attracted para. If that attraction is more, that is ferro. That is ferro. So ferromagnetic, paramagnetic, diamagnetic. Which are strongly attracted by the magnet, ferromagnetic. Which are weakly attracted by the magnet, paramagnetic. Which are not attracted, that is repelled by the magnet, that is the diamagnetic. So more are the unpaired electrons, ferroadic. Less is the unpaired electrons, paradic. So no unpaired electrons, diadic. So that is, if n is equal to 0, mu is equal to 0, that means that is diamagnetic. This case is diamagnetic. Mu not equal to 0, which is taken as a paramagnetic. That means species having same n value means unpaired electrons, same number of unpaired electrons, and same n value have same mu value. And that means the same magnetic moment. So species having same n value having same magnetic moment. So these are very, very important. Now I am going to explain this concept with the help of some problems. See here. Actually, this magnetic moment is calculated by using spin quantum number and azimuthal quantum number, that is mu s is equal to under root 4s into s plus 1 plus L into L plus 1 and L into L plus 1. Actually, this is the formula. But L is taken as 0. That's why L is neglected. For 3D series, L is not considered. Therefore, for 3D series, mu s is equal to 4s into s plus 1 and 4s into s plus 1. Only for 3D series. That is D block elements. The two first transition series and 3D series. 4D, 5D, L values are considered, but 3D series, L values are not considered. So here S is the total spin. So take S is equal to n by 2, total spin. S is equal to n by 2. Therefore, mu S is equal to under root n into n plus 2. It is Bohr magnet. This is the formula we use. Here only spin is considered. Only spin is considered. That's why this formula is called as spin only formula. The spin only formula for magnetic moment mu s is equal to, that means spin quantum number, spin part is only identified, but not L part, angular momentum. L is not considered, only spin is considered. That's a spin only formula. The formula is called as a spin only formula. The spin only formula for to calculate magnetic moment, it is applicable only for 3D series elements. It is applicable only for 3D series elements. For 3D series elements, mu is equal to under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magnets. It is only for 3D series. This is the formula we are going to use. That is the spin only formula. Here L is the number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons. That is n value. So give us some examples. See here. So one Bohr magnet units and mu unit Bohr magnet and that is Bohr magnet. One Bohr magnet is equal to, for values, please mind, 9.274 into 10 power minus 24 joule per Tesla. Joule per Tesla, that is, which is equal to 9.274 into 10 power minus 24 minus 21 erg per gas. These are different units. Erg per gas per particle. Per particle, which is equal to 5.788. 5.788 into 10 power minus 5. 10 power minus 5 electron volt per Tesla. Electron volt per Tesla. These are the different units. But in our calculations, only we use Bohr magnet. So no need to remember these values. It is just for theoretical calculation. That is class part only. So no need to use in your calculations. Now our problem is calculate the magnetic moment of titanium plus 3 ion. Titanium plus 3 ion. Titanium, its atomic number, scandium, titanium. Atomic number Z is equal to 22. Z is equal to 22. So Z is equal to 22 means electronic configuration, that is 4s2 3d2. 4s2 3d2. So 1 2 is for S, another 2 is for D. It is 4s orbital, is a 3d orbital. Simplest way of representation of outermost electronic configuration. If it is 26, our electronic configuration is 4s2 3d6. If it is 25, our electronic configuration is 4s2 3d5. If it is 24, that is chromium, please be mind, 4s1 3d5, anomalous configuration. So easy to identify the electron, it is the outermost electronic configuration. That's enough to us to calculate this magnetic moment. So first S is for 4s orbital, second one is for 3d orbital. 4s2 3d2. Outermost, once again you want to write here. So 22 means 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d2. That is I wrote here, 4s2, 3d2. Okay, it is nothing but argon 4s2, 3d2. Argon 4s2, 3d2. That is the electronic configuration, outermost electronic configuration. So it is for titanium. But here I am taking titanium plus 3. That is losing of 3 electrons. So titanium plus 3. Now 4s2 3d2 means plus 3 means loss of 3 electrons. First remove these 2 electrons. First remove s electrons. If insufficient, then remove electrons from 3d. If it is insufficient, then remaining is 3d. That is why, so these 2 electrons are removed. So something, one more should be removed. So D is there. That means D means one unpaired electron. It is one unpaired electron. Therefore, number of unpaired electrons is equal to 1. Therefore, mu is equal to under root n into n plus 2. That is under root 1 into 1 plus 2. That is root 3 is the answer. And Bohr magnetism. That is 1.732. Bohr magnetism is the answer. And like this, you have to find out the magnetic moment. Okay.